This Thursday, February 7th meeting of the Metropolitan Area Planning Commission to order. And if we can have the public announcements.
Before we begin the agenda, the Wichita-Sedgwick County Metropolitan Area Planning Commission and the Wichita-Sedgwick County Board of Zoning Appeals would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to this public hearing. Copies of the agenda for today's meeting, the public hearing procedure, and Planning Department staff reports on all agenda items are available in the lobby of this conference room. The Planning Commission's and the BZA's bylaws limit the applicant on a zoning, subdivision, or variance application and his or her representative to a total of 10 minutes of speaking time at the start of the hearing on that item, plus up to 2 minutes at the conclusion of that hearing. All other persons wishing to speak on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per person. However, if they feel that it is needed and justified, the chairman may extend these times by up to 2 minutes. All speakers are requested to state his or her name and address for the record when beginning to speak. When you are finished speaking, please write your name, address, and the case number on the sheet provided in the lobby. This will enable staff to notify you if there are any additional proceedings concerning that item. Please note that all written and visual materials you present to the Commission and the Board will be retained by the Secretary as part of the official record. If you are not speaking but you wish to be notified about future proceedings on a particular case, please sign in on that same sheet. The Planning Commission and the Board are interested in hearing the views of all persons who wish to express themselves on the agenda items. However, we ask that all speakers please be as concise as possible and avoid long repetitions of facts or opinions which have already been stated. For your information, the Wichita City Council has adopted a policy for all city zoning items. A copy of this policy is available in the lobby. The City Council relies on a written record of the Planning Commission hearings and does not conduct its own additional public hearings on these items. The decision of the BZA is final. Any appeal of a decision of the BZA is to district court.
Okay, with that, we will move on to agenda item number 1, approval of the prior MAPC.
Move.
I've got a couple corrections.
Okay,
Second.
by Mr. McKay and a second by Mr. Warren, and some corrections.
Misspelling of my name on page 24 and 25. Well, not really a misspelling. It's just there's a space between the M and the A for some reason on a couple entries.
I blame it on the computer.
Any other corrections? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Do you have a question?
Motion carries. And Mr. Warren has a question.
That was the November 1st date. Is there a reason why we don't have, didn't we have some meetings in December? Are those not ready, or what's the process here? Okay. Just out of curiosity.
All right, agenda item number 2, we have no subdivision cases, so we'll move on to agenda item number 3, public hearings. Item number 3.1, VAC 2018-00035, city vacation of platted 20-foot drainage and 10-foot utility easement on Lot 1 Union Station Addition. Is there anybody on the commission that would like to hear this case? Seeing none, is there anybody in the audience that would like to hear this case? Seeing none, we'll take this item on consent. Agenda item number 3.2, VAC 2018-00036, city vacation of North-South Alley located in the Martinsons, 5th Edition. Is there anybody on the commission that would like to hear this case? Seeing none, is there anybody in the audience that would like to hear this case? Seeing none, we'll take that item on consent. Item 3.3, VAC 2018-00037, city vacation of platted reserves alley, 20-foot utility easement, complete access control along Ida and a portion of Ida Street right away on property zone GC and B. Is there anybody on the commission?
It's
that
been
would
deferred.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's been deferred. Oh, I see it. Deferral date to be announced. Okay. Sorry about that. Mr. Foster.
To be announced now or at a later time?
It looks like at a later time.
Case is associated with zone case 2018-53, and the application is being amended, and when new dates will be set when the amended applications are received.
Okay, item number 34, VAC 2018-00038, city vacation of access control on North Amidon Avenue for new driveway for property zoned LC. Is there anybody on the commission that would like to hear this case? Seeing none, is there anybody in the audience that would like to hear this case? Seeing none, we'll take that item on consent.
Would we take items 3.1, 3.2, and 3.4 on consent?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Green, a second by Mr. Hartman. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 9-0. Item number 4, case number ZON 2018-00053. Oh, that's going to be deferred. Item number 5, case number CON 2018-00041. City conditional use to permit a boarding kennel. Is there anybody on the commission that would like to hear this case?
I had a question for staff.
Yes. We're going to hear the case, so. All right, case number CON 2018-00046, city conditional use to permit vehicle and equipment sales outdoor on property zone LC and a protective overlay. Is there anybody on the commission that'd like to hear this case? Seeing none, is there anybody on the audience that would like to hear this case? Seeing none, we'll take that item on consent. Agenda item number 7, case number ZON 2018-00051, city zone change from TF3 to family residential to LC. Is there anybody on the commission that would like to hear this case? Mr. Foster, Mr. Richardson, we will hear that case. And case number 8, ZON 2018-00052, has been deferred.
Do we have a date certain? Well,
Okay.
go to the thing so we can get it, and that way we won't have to re-advertise.
Information from the applicant is requested to defer to the 21st, which is 2 weeks.
Deferred to February 21st. All right, do we have a motion to take item number 6 on consent?
Move to approve. Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Warren, a second by Mr. Richardson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right. Yep.
Obviously, I'm not Kathy Morgan, but she got called away unexpectedly, so I'm trying to fill in for her. I don't know as much about this case as I probably should, so I'll give you the Cliff Note version. The applicants are here, and they'd be able to answer more detailed questions, but this is a request for a boarding, breeding, training kennel. It would go into a building that would allow for the reuse of an existing vacant building. They would have a maximum of 60 dogs. Part of the application is to waive some of the development standards, such as typically a boarding, breeding, training kennel requires 5 acres. They have a half acre, and requires a distance from off-site dwelling units of 200 feet and 50 feet from the property lines. And so those waivers would be included if you decide to recommend approval on this. Staff recommends approval subject to the conditions found in the staff report. It did go to the district advisory board maybe twice. First time, there was nobody there to represent the applicant, and so the applicant asked for it to be reheard so that they could have someone there. So it went back to the district advisory board a second time on the 15th, where it was approved 8-3. As you can see here, the location, the property is zoned limited commercial. There is limited commercial zoning east and west and south as well. And then there's duplex zoning, the yellow to the north. It is on West Central, which is a busy street. And as I understand it, that was one of the main concerns expressed at the District Advisory Board was about the traffic. And I guess what I would say is West Central is going to have traffic whether this place is here or not, but Kathy said that was one of the concerns expressed. See the aerial developed with commercial and office uses east, west, and south, and then the building to the north. Since I haven't had a chance to actually visit the site, I assume that's a duplex, but don't know immediately to the north. Comp plan recommendation showing as a commercial uses is what it looks like to me. And here's the facade drawing of how they would take care of the existing building and a site plan there in the right-hand side of there's the building as it stands. Another shot. And with that, probably that's enough. I'll try and answer questions if you have any about procedure, but again, the applicants are here and can give you more detail.
Hartman.
Dale, has the property owner to the north expressed any concern?
Not that I'm aware of, but is, okay, yeah, all right, she apparently is here then, so, yeah.
You have a question?
Did not.
Okay. Oh, we have questions over here,
Yeah.
Mr. Warren.
The, regarding the traffic, looking at the aerial view of the drawing, those entrances and exits those are the ones that are currently in place. There's no change anticipated from this.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
And is there I'm assuming that I'm gonna get my bearings straight here, there's an entrance directly onto Central? And is that a right turn only out of that parking lot?
Don't believe it would be because there's no median there.
That close to an intersection, if that would be something that we could put into this as a right turn only, or is that something that traffic's concerned about? I'm not a traffic expert, so I'm not gonna impose it if they don't want it, but it seems to me that being that close to an intersection, turning back into the left towards that intersection would be a little bit of a danger.
Yeah, I don't know whether they've reviewed the site plan or not. Without a median, other than a sign there, I'm not sure how effective it would be, but
Mr. Richardson.
Dale, I'm curious as to why the staff is recommending that this be approved when it's in direct contradiction to our own rules, which are the size of the facility and especially the distance between. We have two houses that are less than 200 feet. According to the notes here, if you add up the times the dogs will be outside, it's 8 hours and 15 minutes a day of 30 to 60 dogs. I'm just wondering why the staff thinks we shouldn't abide by our own rules here.
well, I mean, it's not unusual in an urban setting for those distances for kennels to not be able to comply with unless you're in an industrial area. We've had a number of requests for kennels in the last several years. The building is vacant. There's always kind of an approach that if it's an existing building and there's a way to put it back into use, that's better than having it being vacant. But I can see your concerns.
Thank you.
Other questions from the commission? Okay, thank you.
I've got a question,
Mr.
Dale.
Hartman.
Now, we have other facilities similar to this in the city, correct?
Other dog? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever get complaints on these outdoor dog areas?
Not that I'm aware of, but, they would go to JR's group, and I might not ever hear about them if he takes care of them.
What recourse would a neighbor have if there's excessive barking going on?
Well, there's the noise ordinance, and then the recommended conditions of approval. If the dogs are outside and when they're not supposed to be, then that could be a reason to void the conditional use or the protective overlay. And there is the noise ordinance. I forget exactly, but it's, if there's so many decibels above the background noise, then the city can enforce that.
Is there any enforcement on odor control?
Don't know. I assume the applicant can express how they're going to handle that. Typically, that's one of the things that the applicant explains how that's going to be addressed.
Okay, any other questions from the commission? If not, thanks, Dale. Agent applicant, would you like to come forward, and if you'll state your name and address, and you have 10 minutes.
I'm sorry. Do I know where to click? There was supposed to be a box in the bottom right. There it is. Thank you. I'll hit that. My name is Blake Bauer. I'm from Manhattan, Kansas. My address is 2801 Palmer Circle there in Manhattan, and I'm one of the co-owners of Wolf's, and that's why I'm here to speak to you today. So the big thing I wanted to show you in some of these pictures, and I'll answer some of those questions as they're directly been brought up. We talked with the Homeowners Association at a meeting there a few weeks ago, and then also here this week talked at the DAB. I was at the DAB meeting and answer some of those questions. I think the big thing on showing you the pictures, other than just asking you those questions, is to show you what type of facility we're going to run. And that's the big deal, because you can go to a lot of facilities that are here in Wichita, and I've been by several of them that have been maybe in a neighborhood or been around. And those facilities are, to be perfectly honest with you, without talking about anyone specifically, are not kept to our standards. Wichita has a growing need for this as we look at the population base, and the number of boarding facilities and daycare facilities in Wichita is one of the reasons that we chose to come to Wichita. We also have other business that's here, which is so we're very familiar, and I have family here, so we're very familiar with the town, which is one reason that we're coming this direction. Currently, I live in Manhattan. That's where we have one store. There's a store that's been going for several years in Merriam, and then a Leawood store that we purchased from another party in May and opened up on close to 435 in Kansas City. Opening soon is Topeka, and actually that opened on Monday, and I have some pictures directly from that to show you the finish of that facility. Lawrence will open the first week of March, and then we're considering these other potential sites. Also one in East Wichita. We're working on the contract right now, Columbia and North Kansas City. The big thing is to show you our services. I noticed one thing that was said earlier was about breeding. We do not do any breeding. And also in this facility, there will not be official training. We will train your dog on just common obedience, but not in a specific training class. I know the ordinance lists all those things. It puts us all in the same category, but we will not have breeding, and we will not have official trainers on site either. This facility is a little smaller than our normal footprint, so there's not as much to do those extracurricular enhancement type activities. But we will have day play. That's daycare for dogs. I'd be perfectly honest, I grew up on a farm in Clay Center, Kansas. Taking your dog to daycare is a little outside of my growing up and my history, but it is a growing need. Obviously, night stay. We really like this idea of being over in this area because also it's close to the airport, so when people leave town, they can bring their pup to us and drop them off. Grooming, we'll have grooming services to help with nails, baths, those type of items. And then we offer kitty care. We're not 100% sure in this facility if we're going to have that because once again, it's a smaller facility. Like in our Manhattan facility, you'll have one cat there at a time. It's mostly just if somebody else has dogs, they usually have cats, and that's why that's on here on our services, and you'll see that on our website, and I wanted to address that. But in the plan right now, there is no room for that. It'll be strictly pups. Also, this is a picture of our facilities. Big thing is to show you the condition of these. You'll see in the top picture, that's a picture from our Manhattan facility, and it is one from here about a month ago, and it's snowing in Manhattan. We have canine turf that's out there. You'll also notice the blue pool. That blue pool is an in-ground, we cover that up in the winter, but that way the dogs go in and out and get cooled off. You'll also notice the big doors. Dogs are not outside or inside 100% of the time. We allow the dogs to go in and out of that door based on when on what they feel. A husky in the winter is going to go outside. A husky in the summer might be inside. So no, the dogs will never all be in or all be out. We like that facility and that use of the indoor-outdoor space so the dog can choose what's comfortable for them. You can also see that we have in this picture a brand new facility, FRP on walls, epoxy on the floors, Corando beds, which is a really structured bed. They're just not cheap. We try to spend the right money on the facility. In the outdoor play yards, you'll see the play areas that are there too. Indoor in the facilities, you'll see nice kennels. These are brand new kennels, not little cages to put the dogs in. And then you'll see luxury suites. These are for the higher end clients that want a little bit more space in there for their dog. They also have a camera. You can log into our website, and you can even do that now. Log into the website, see your dog. A lot of people need peace of mind. They're guilty that they're going on vacation. They're on the beach and they want to see their dog, and so they can see that their dog is taken care of. And there is a TV in that room. I know it sounds odd. It's mostly about noise. When you're at home, your TV's on. They're comfortable with that noise, and it allows them a little bit more comfort in the noise. And there's a fan in there too. The big question that we've had has been really around 4 parts: traffic, noise, groundwater, and our chemicals. This is big to show you that Rescue is what we use for our chemicals. It is the active ingredient is really just hydrogen peroxide, what you use on your boo-boos on your hands to clean them. It's very safe. It's pet friendly. 80% of vets use it, and it meets all OSHA and EPA requirements. Disposal of it just goes down the drain. Very pet friendly, and we use this for a specific reason. You don't go use bleach. Bleaches are harmful to pets and to the materials we use in the building, and we'll break it down so you can see that we use Rescue. And in the DAB meeting, one of the representatives had done the research and also backed that up. If the minutes in there, you'll see that he had done the same research that I had. Also, I think it's important to show you the facility. In this is our Manhattan facility, and the only reason I show you this is our office is right here. And this is our office, and we butted up right up against our facility. Noise is a big question about this. How loud are you going to be? We believe in our product so much that we've put our office right next to the facility. This office that I'm circling right here is my controller's office. If you know any controllers, they like it quiet. They like to crunch their numbers, and that's how they do it every day in the office. We put him right up against the kennel room to show you that we believe in our product and being around it every day. That's just a picture of our office to show you where his office is right up against that, just to give you an example. You can get a tour at any time if you walked into Manhattan to those facilities. This is the West Wichita floor plan. This is the outdoor yards that are here, and those are on the east side of the building. Indoor play yards so that dogs can go in and out, and we'll have those doors open so they could go in and out during those times. Suites are over here, or kennels. Those were the picture of the fancier purple kennels that were in there, and then luxury suites on the hallway coming down here for the higher end, and grooming services up front by the lobby. Also a meet and greet room. This is very important to show you. We don't just let any dog in. You have to be fixed. You have to have your vet bills. You have to have your dog has to be ready to be with us. And we have a meet and greet where if you want to bring your dog in, you have to bring that dog in, and we introduce other dogs to it to make sure that it'll play fine. One of the things I can tell you is we will fire your dog. It's not fun to do, and it's never fun to hear. But if your dog can't play well with others, if it can't mind, if it doesn't have the proper things to be around other dogs, we'll ask you to go find another facility for that. Because on our high-end facility, we want to make sure that everybody's comfortable with the use. The other thing on the noise to point out here with the indoor-outdoor play is dogs barking the decibels. So I did some research since the DAB meeting on decibels. Dog barking is going to be around 80 to 90 decibels. And a lawnmower is between 70 and 107, depending on if you're standing next to it to 100 feet. Kind of gives you an idea of where a dog barking is less than the lawnmower that'll be in your neighborhood. City traffic is 85. So dogs barking are less than city traffic. I thought those were important to kind of give some decibel levels. A normal conversation is 60 to 70 decibel levels per my research. Also, to show you the outside, this is the site plan that we put up. We're going to plant some new trees here along the back line, and also one more on this front corner. This is to help with the neighbors, help with them so visually that it brings more trees to the neighborhood, and those have been presented to the city. We left all of the traffic things open right now. I understood that probably taking away traffic or changing traffic patterns was a bigger deal than leaving them as is, and so we were able to get our parking count down with still using the existing site and leaving those open. We have 12 or 13 parking spots on site. Our traffic study that was turned in and done said that we needed 12. The current place has 23 parking stalls. And so we would actually, as traffic goes, depending on who the use is, we could actually possibly be seen as less traffic than another commercial or retail user that might go into the building. I think that, yes, we're going to be more than it being vacant, but it would be less than adding to another use. These are big to show you. This is what the pictures on the left were the building before. This is how Mattress Firm had it, and this is how we have it with our 8-foot fence. And one sign on the front. A lot more plain looking and visual appealing to the neighbors. This is the inside of our Topeka store. This is from our security camera footage. I took this from our office in Manhattan to show you the type of finish that we do. Rubber flooring, we're actually still in that top right finish, finishing a little bit of work in the playrooms to help divide little dogs from big dogs, trying to divide that out. And you can see the yard, the new furniture that's out there, and the canine grass that's used out there as well. Here's the lobby finishes that show the LVT, the luxury suites, the grooming services. You can see the type of finish that we do in a facility. And this was also a redo of another building. So you can kind of see this is the same type of finish we would do in this building. Big also to show you is this wall. To see the video as we're winding down here. This is an 8-foot fence. We put an 8-foot vinyl fence so you can't see to or fro from that. And that's a very big deal that you can't see in there because it'll actually, in that 8-foot fence, will actually knock down the dog decibels by the decibels from that dog from 6 to 10 down. So you'll actually get that dog decibel down, it gets it down almost to 70.
Bauer, your time is up. Is there any questions from the commission? Who we got? Mr. Foster?
If you look at conditions in the staff report, conditions 4 and 5, I was curious, it mentions kennel be open to the public from 7 to 7 and so forth. And then you compare that with the outdoor playtime will be monitored by kennel staff. It looks like the times don't match up or that the outdoor playtime would be earlier than that. Is that typical? Is that the way
Yes,
it should
sir.
be?
So the dogs that are boarded overnight, we come into the facility just a little bit earlier, the staff does, and let those dogs out, bring them back in. And so that's why those earlier ones are done that way.
Thank you.
Mr. Warren?
Yeah, Blake, you answered one of my questions on the fence height, because that was, I was hoping that you were gonna have something as tall as you did, because that will offset some of that noise.
Your mic's not on.
Test. I was glad to see that what you had on the augment some of the noise factor. One of the questions I had to do with parking. At times when people bring or pick up their pets, is parking going to be a concern there to where an employee might be wanting to do an off-street parking situation?
Not in my opinion from our use of our Manhattan store. Our Manhattan store is right there on McCall Road and has parking spots right out in front. There's about 7 or 8 that are right out in front, and we have a couple employees that park there and guests, and it never goes over that. The reason I know that is I park off to the side on that side door to our office, and we never see dogs walking. They're always parking spots up front. In the report, we put for 7 parking spots out, or 6 or 7 out back. I think it was 6. And that's for 4 full-time staff and 2 corporate staff to visit. And so and we will have around that range. This is a smaller facility than like our other ones that are 8 to 10,000 square feet. And then we put 7 parking spots up front, which should be more than enough. When somebody comes and drops off their dog, they're in, they're out.
Thank you.
Mr. Richardson, did you have a question? Okay, no other questions? Thank you. Do we have anybody from the audience that would like to speak on this case? Yes, if you'll step forward and provide your name and address, and you will have 3 minutes.
Hi, Debbie Sigmund, President of Orchard Park Neighborhood Association, 714 North Flora. And as you see, it is a beautiful facility, and it is much prettier than what Mattress Firm was. We don't object to that at all. The neighbors are worried about the traffic in throughout our neighborhood for the fact that we already are 20% over capacity on Central at Central and 235, and they've opened up Hoover around a 13th. We already see cars going through the neighborhood trying to find a shorter way to get around all the traffic that's usually backed up 6 to 8 blocks east on Central. The other concern is the fact that for 60 dogs, you know, our ordinance says 5 acres, and this is half an acre. The closest resident is, I think, is 70 feet, and it's supposed to be 200 feet. Those are the other concerns that, and it's the same thing that you guys have already pointed on and have brought up. So those are the concerns that the neighbors in the immediate area have. Yes.
I understand the concern on traffic. It's hard for me to imagine a business that would generate less traffic than this. I mean, there's about any retail business, especially something going on all through the day, would generate a lot more traffic. You have any, is there an ideal situation that you would be looking for? I mean, other than, I mean, I don't know what it would
Other than
be.
the Mattress Firm that didn't
Yeah, well,
have very many
I mean,
people.
it's hard for me to imagine any business that would be less traffic than this. I mean, I understand that you've got too much already, but if anything goes in there, you're going to have a certain amount of traffic.
And that was brought up at the DAB meeting, and yes, I agree with that. The concern is the turning left, turning right, the in and out, the trying to stop the traffic and let these people out, and it's at the peak times of the day, you know, the 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning, and then the 5 to 6 p.m. And again, yes, I agree, it would, whatever goes in there, we're going to have the issue with the traffic.
Thank you.
Mr. Richardson.
Help me understand some of the concerns regarding the noise that was at the DAB meeting. Can you kind of help us about what the conversation was there?
The conversation on the noise part was the fact that the residents north of the facility, she just retired, and we are outside a lot of the time. People are out, and during the times that are scheduled for the dogs to be outside are the same times we're doing our yard work, or we're pulling weeds, or we're outside, or planting a garden, and so forth. And that was the concerns of the noise. And Blake did go into the 8-foot fence and how that does bring that noise level down. We're still concerned about that.
The block north of Central there, is that the 700 block? Is that the block where you live?
Yes.
I can't remember. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So you live on the east side of the street?
Am I here? I am this house right here.
Okay. So you're the house that's 120 feet
20.
away, if you will?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Questions from the commission? Mr. Blick.
So are you saying that the neighborhood association's in support of it, or they just have some concerns?
We just have some concerns.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the commission? Thank you for your
Thank you.
presentation. Is there anybody else from the audience who would like to speak on this case? If you'll step forward and state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes.
Darlene Gottstein, 715 North Flora, Wichita, Kansas. And I'm the property owner just north of the proposed doggy center. I'm concerned about my health and quality of life. I'm very concerned about the value of my property. What's the doggy daycare going to do the value of my property? It's butted up next to this facility. There used to be a small house. When I bought the property in '94, there used to be a small house there, and excuse me, and it was tore down. I'm concerned about the noise. I'm concerned about the odor, traffic. I'm really concerned about the potential of airborne parasites, parvo. I have an autoimmune disorder, and I also have am susceptible to migraines. Any kind of fumes, chemicals can set me off in either direction, either for migraine or my autoimmune. I'm concerned about well water. I don't even know if their facility has a well. I do have a well, and I can do either. I have city water or I can use well water. But to my knowledge, everyone north of us are on city water. Do these people, or have they been made aware that this facility is going to be coming in and having chemicals? We have a high water table in our area. We can't have basements in that area. And since they're under the proposed or zoned amount for 5 acres, I don't think they should be allowed.
Thank you. Questions from the commission? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, ma'am. Is there anybody else from the audience that would like to speak on this case? Okay, seeing none, we have agent or applicant has 2 minutes for rebuttal.
I just want to address 2 quick items that I didn't get to address. Number one is the waste. We do not flush any of the waste down a toilet. Some places will do that. We will double bag it, and it'll be put in a trash dumpster. We have a dumpster enclosure on the plan, and so that is set there to be. It'll be picked up immediately. Any feces will be picked up immediately, double bagged, and several times a day. Then it'll be taken to a dumpster. So just so you know, none of the feces is allowed around. The other big one that has been brought up is the well water. It was brought up in the DAB. I did some research on it since that DAB when it was brought up, and I looked in the Kansas KDHE, and I looked at the well water inspection manual, and section 2838. Brings up the requirement for how far a well should be away from a septic system. This isn't obviously a septic system. The only risk we have here is dog urine that would be out in the canine grass yard. We're going to take that concrete out of there. We'll put a bed of AB3 in, bring that up a little bit, and then put a canine grass, which is a really tough astroturf. And it will seep down through there. 50 feet is the requirement by KDHE to be away from a well. And we are, from our closest point to the closest neighbor is from the survey is 59 feet 9 inches. I don't know where the well is on the property, but we're outside the 50 feet, and this also is in a groundwater source, a septic, where there's a lot going through it. So the other only point on that is that the water underground usually moves with the river. The river there is moving from north to south, so I think it actually moves away from the neighborhood. So those were 2 quick points that I really wanted to address, because I really think that we'll treat the facility very well. We will be, it'll be a lot cleaner and safer than facilities you've probably seen. Thank you.
Hey, we'll start over here with Mr. Green, and we'll go around the tables.
Yes, the report did go
Staff,
in
different questions.
a little bit to the odor mitigation. Can you expand on that a little bit? The odor that would be coming from the outdoor play area? If any.
Other than that, we take every precaution to clean, to remove feces, and to use rescue and water down any areas in that. I mean, we use pet specific. I know there's a couple facilities that I toured in town that all they've got is a rock bed out back. There isn't. It's literally grass that's been worn down to dirt, or it's a rock bed. And that's why we do the facility the way we do, is to take care of all those issues. And I can't speak other than that.
Mr. Hartman.
Did I read somewhere where you use a vacuum type process in your cleanup?
No, we have a floor machine, kind of like a Zamboni, that we'll walk around with. But other than that, then in the turf, it's just use rescue, which is that recommended hydrogen peroxide base.
Foster.
What type of venting system do you have inside the building that would send things out to the surrounding atmosphere?
We actually use a specialty air conditioner. They're expensive, but they circulate the air, and it cleans the air as it goes. And so it's, I'm sorry, I don't have that with me, but it's a specialty rooftop unit that we use, and we were going to structurally put structural beams in there to hold these up on the roof, so that it's not just a regular HVAC unit. And what it does is it cleans the air as it goes. and it's energy efficient. And if need be, I can get that data. I don't have it offhand.
Mr. Blick.
Hey, Blake, on your site plan, you show the trash receptacle on the north west corner of the property. It's closest to the resident in that location. Is that, I got a couple of questions that relate to that. Is that going to be a normal trash bin, or is it some kind of special seal? Because when you were saying earlier that you just put it in trash bags and you throw it inside the bin, is it a special bin, or is it just a normal trash can?
We double bag it in the facility before it goes out there. We haven't had any troubles in any other units. It is a regular trash bin, but it is a trash corral. So it isn't just a bin just sitting out in the open, but it is a regular trash bin that's out there.
How often do you have trash service? Are you
Anywhere
talking
from once a week to once every other week is all we've had to do. It doesn't have a smell in that manner.
About a week to 2 weeks, fecal matter can stay inside that trash can that's close to that property?
It could, and from prior meetings that I had been to, less pickups was what was desired by the neighborhood, instead of having trucks that showed up at all days. That was more an answer from earlier.
So this location, is it a confirmed location, is that's where you're wanting? Because it looks like you have another location that could possibly be over to the building, but I just wonder, away from the adjacent property owner, that's why I was just asking, or onto the front.
The front wasn't offered. I don't know that city-wise if that's approved or not. We did offer to the homeowners association a couple options. This was actually the more thought approved because the truck can pull straight in and it can get straight out as compared to turning and worry, so it would hopefully be faster.
Thank you.
Mr. Dool, did you have a question? No questions from you? Mr. McKay?
Are you licensed, or do you have any license requirements by the state?
Yes, the Kansas Department of Agriculture is who does the license for this. They come into the facility before you open, and they also do ongoing inspections.
Richardson.
On the site plan, you have a green area that's called dog turf, and you just talked about that. Is it my understanding, though, that's not ultimately a hard surface, that dog urine will leach through that into the underlying soil?
That is correct. It is not surface. We'll take out in that area. We'll remove the asphalt that's there that's now, and then re-prepare that area with AB3 gravel so that it has that to seep through before it goes anything that's in the ground under that, which is most likely soil.
Do you ever put a hard surface in those so that you can actually run that down the sewer instead of leaching it?
We have not done that or had to do that in any of our facilities. I'm not aware of where that's been also used.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions on the commission? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll bring it back to the commission for action. Mr. Warren.
As I've looked at some of these things and seen them around from time to time, this looks to be about as first class as I've seen. So I would move to approve as presented.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Motion by Mr. Warren and a second by Mr. Dool. Discussion. Mr. Richardson.
I'd offer a substitute motion to deny it based on the fact that what we're doing here is going against our own regulations. We're way closer than 200 feet. We're way less than 5 acres. In my opinion, the house to the north and one across the street will decrease in value significantly. I wouldn't live in either one of those. We have dogs in our neighborhood that are 200 feet away. I can hear them in my house with double pane windows with the house shut up. So to think that you're not going to hear these dogs 8 hours and 15 minutes a day, 30 to 60 of them, I think we're just kidding ourselves. There's just no way in the world. And if you're outside, you won't be able to enjoy it outside. It makes no sense to me to have 60 dogs' urine leaching through the soil into an area that uses groundwater. That doesn't make any sense to me either. I agree, this is a nice facility as described. This facility could get sold tomorrow to somebody who's not going to operate it in this fashion. We can't base this on what he's saying by the way he's going to operate this facility. For that reason, I would offer a substitute motion that we deny it because, frankly, it flies against our own regulations.
Second.
Okay, I have a substitute motion to deny by Mr. Richardson and a second by Mr. Blick. Further discussion? Mr. Warren?
Well, I guess I'd start off by making the argument that it's probably time to review our rules and regulations. I think there is a need for this kind of service in town, and so situations of acreage, I mean, I think that was a lot of planning went in a bygone day, and that's not what we have now. We have people that have pets, they want to take care of them, they want to take care of them in a first-class way. They want to have something somewhat close to where they live, and so I think this meets that need. I understand the aspect of noise, having lived in areas that have neighbors whose dogs bark through the night. That is a frustrating situation, but my experience, especially if you've ever been around dog parks and things like that, dogs play and they don't bark as much when they've got that around them. When there's a dog across the ditch or across the street and they hear them, they're answering back and forth. But dogs that play together just don't bark that much. I mean, it's a different dynamic from that situation. I think this is it's a needed service, and when it's done right, it can work in the community, and I would urge you to vote in favor.
Any other discussion? Mr. Richardson?
Well, I agree with Mr. Warren that we probably need to look at this. First of all, there's no performance standards here with regards to, what it says is 5 acres or no discernible noise or odor. So I guess we're saying we will negate that requirement. So there's no recourse by the neighbors. If they smell it and hear it, it's too bad. Under the current ordinance, it says, you can have this if there's no discernible noise or odor at the property line. There's no way in the world you won't have discernible noise at the property line here. Now, if that may not be the right standard, I get that, and that's what Mr. Warren is saying. And I have thought about asking the staff to do what we've done in other cases, which is to survey what other communities are doing. And I agree, it is a need, I understand that. But I think in this case, it flies in the face of our own regulations. And there's just no way you won't hear this at the property line. It just isn't going to happen unless it's totally enclosed. So that's where I'm coming from.
Other discussion? Okay, if not, all in favor of, right, all in favor of the substitute motion to deny, say aye.
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 Can I see a show of hands, please? Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All opposed, same sign. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The ties have it.
Like that.
Okay, the motion fails for lack of a majority.
Well, now we have the original motion, which will probably do the same thing, but we do.
Okay, any other discussion on the original motion? Okay, if not, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say same sign. Aye. Motion fails for lack of majority. Okay, gentlemen, now what?
Fails.
Fails.
Yeah.
Okay,
Unless there's another motion, then it would be deemed to be denied for lack of an approval.
okay.
Want that by me again?
Unless there is a third motion that somebody wants to make, then the last motion to approve that was 5-5 is deemed to be a denial for lack of an approval.
Okay, Mr. Warren.
We've got 1, 2, 3, we've got 4 members missing. I would move to defer to the next regular meeting and to be reheard hopefully with a full complement of members to consider.
Have a motion to defer by Mr. Warren, a second by Mr. Dool. Mr. Richardson, you had a comment?
It was going to be along the line of asking the staff to
Okay.
look at this, but not on
Okay,
this.
any other discussion on this motion to defer?
do.
Yes, Mr. Green.
Are there some stipulations that we could put into the future presentation or requirements that would be needed to have this pass that would address the potential odor and or the leaching of, I guess those were the two, and the sound, I guess, the noise concerns.
My comment would be is that both the applicants and those that are opposed have heard the discussion. I think it would be up to them to, if they want to, when they make the presentation next time, if they want to make amendments to their presentation in order to try to curry favor, then they can do that at that point. Because I think we've got different ideas of what, might change our ideas. Let them see what was been said and see if they can come up with something that would be a little more palatable.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Got 2 noes, Mr. Foster and Mr. Richardson.
So this is deferred to the next
Regular
meeting.
MAPC meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to agenda item number 7. And we have Dave's going to present for us.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Dave, you're out with staff. This is a request to rezone from TF3, two-family residential, to LC on the property on the south side of 21st Street between Erie and this is Maplewood Drive on the east. We're halfway between Grove and Hillside. The property, as noted in the staff report, is presently vacant and has been vacant for many years, according to the information that was received at the DAB meeting on Monday. There used to be a small church that was located approximately in this location. The existing drive off of Maplewood is actually visible in one of the slides, but the balance of the property has been vacant for many years. It's even shown as being vacant in the North 21st Street corridor plan that was done almost 20 years ago. You can see the location of the property in relationship to the 21st Street corridor plan and the overall comprehensive plan. This is a picture of the property. I'm on Maplewood looking west, so you can see that it's vacant. This is 21st Street to the right, and in the background, this is Erie, and then the parking lot that's at the medical facility that sits further to the west. This is looking east along 21st Street. I'm actually at the corner of Maplewood, so I'm looking east towards Wichita State in the background. This is the home that's immediately to the south of the property along Maplewood. This is the driveway that went into where the church used to be. And this is looking north from the site and I believe this is Volusia. And this property has an old ratty parking lot on it, but otherwise it's vacant. Across the street on the west side of Volusia in this area is a medical clinic with parking along Volusia. So, and this is looking east back across the site from Erie, and you can see the houses along Maplewood on the other side of the property. That's just a shot looking down 21st Street going west. Staff is recommending actually to deny the request to go to LC and recommending NR, which is neighborhood retail. We presented this at the DAB meeting Monday night in DAB 1. After an extensive discussion, unanimously voted to recommend the staff's recommendation, with the addition of a protective overlay, their request is that the property be restricted from having packaged retail liquor stores available on site. And I'm not sure we will be able fully to do that, but that is their recommendation. There was an extensive discussion. In fact, there was a split debate and a motion initially made to deny the request, then to approve it, and they spent a lot of time talking about it. I know the agent for the applicants here can also address that. But that's where DAB was on this case, and so that's their recommendation going forward. I'll be happy to answer any questions you got.
Questions for Dave? Mr. Richardson?
So Dave, the only addition by the protective overlay is no packaged retail liquor?
There were
Is that-
objections both from the DAB as well as some neighbors that their concern was they did not want packaged retail liquor sales in the area.
Dale, can we do that?
No.
Oh, all right. And so we can't do that because it's a specific
It's
use?
general retail is a little bit allowed, and
It's the equivalent of saying you will allow fast food restaurants except McDonald's. I mean, if it's a general retail, that falls in that category, and you can't exclude out one.
So neighborhood
It's-
retail includes packaged
It's
liquor?
yeah, general.
Okay.
within
Just
the zone.
regular liquor stores are treated as general retail, and NR allows general retail.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Other questions from the commission?
So
Mr.
was
Hartman.
the DAB in agreement with the NR use?
Yes. Yeah, they did recommend NR with the additional protective overlay. That's what they asked for.
Hey, thank you, Dave. Agent or applicant? State your name and address, and you have 10 minutes. You know the drill.
Russ Avey, agent for the applicant with Boffman Company, 315 Ellis. Yeah, after the first 90 minutes of discussion, I think I kind of lost track of where we were here. I'll try to frame it the way I framed it Monday night. We requested limited commercial zoning. Staff recommended neighborhood retail zoning. I tried to squeeze in a middle ground position by asking for limited commercial zoning with a protective overlay, limiting all uses to the NR district with the exception of nursing facilities and hospitals. The property is owned by a doctor's group, and with no known intended use of the property, I was under the assumption that it would be some sort of medical services type of business, and we left it at that. We had some traction. Actually, we had a motion made to approve that. And then literally it fell apart on the thinnest of margins and just exploded to this. So quite frankly, I would just want you, as I asked the District Advisory Board, to consider limited commercial, limited down in most all ways to the neighborhood retail as far as land uses, with the exception of those two uses that I just mentioned. And I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Richardson?
So Russ, those two uses are not allowed in neighborhood retail, is that correct?
Those two uses are not permitted by right in the neighborhood retail zoning district, but are permitted by right in the general office district, as well as the limited commercial zoning
Okay,
district.
so you could have that in a office district?
You can have it in a general office district.
Right,
The neighborhood office and neighborhood retail would preclude both of those.
And once again, that is
Hospitals and nursing facilities.
nursing
Or,
facility.
correct, nursing facilities and hospitals.
Okay, but if there was just a doctor's office, that could still be in neighborhood retail?
Medical service would be allowed in the B through LI zoning
Whatever,
districts,
yeah,
probably.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Other questions from the commission?
Thank you.
Mr. Hartman, are you thinking, or do you have a question?
Fine.
Okay, just want to make sure.
I'm thinking.
He's thinking too.
I hope I'm thinking.
Is there anybody from the audience that would like to speak on this case? Okay, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission for action.
I have a question.
Okay, Mr. Richardson.
Dale and Dale, can we, based on what was asked for and in the staff recommendation, can we change that recommendation to what
Yeah.
Mr. Avey is
Yes,
suggesting?
you have within your purview the ability to grant the LC zoning because that's what was asked for. And if you then restricted that by a protective overlay to the NR uses with the exception of the two that Mr. Avey talked about,
All right,
that can be done.
I would make that motion.
I would second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Richardson, a second by Mr. Green. Other discussion? We had the
Richardson and
motion by
Green.
Mr. Richardson and the second by Mr. Green.
So by this motion means that we're going to get the zoning LC, and the overlay allows only those uses?
Everything but those.
It would allow those two LC uses, but restrict everything else back to.
Okay, seeing no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, motion carries 10-0.
Thing under other matters, whatever you want.
Okay, and we have, don't get too excited, gentlemen. We have one other thing under agenda item number 9, other matters.
I just wanted to bring to your attention, in case you were not bored enough to watch the county commission on Wednesday, they did adopt a moratorium dealing with renewable energy systems, particularly wind turbines and solar arrays. And that moratorium is supposed to last 6 months. And staff has been asked to come up with some development standards that would apply. And so we would expect in, what this is, February, probably in March or April, we would bring to the Advanced Plans Committee some recommendations on those standards, and then looking to try and get something to the county commission and the city council in May or June. Just wanted to.
Do we not,
questions?
so, yeah, we don't have any standards now with regards to, a wind farm is not a conditional use, it's not allowed in any way. Just give me a little background here.
Well, commercial wind farms and commercial arrays, solar arrays, are considered to be utility majors and require a conditional use in all zoning districts except for the Air Force Base. And so they would require conditional use review, and then absent this moratorium, if someone filed, we would then do research and come up with what is typically used in other communities. They're wanting us to get those in place, kind of like the dog kennel stuff.
Yeah.
And have it be proactive.
Sounds like we need to get some standards.
Multiple array wind farms in Sedgwick County right now, are there?
Not that we're aware of. There are leases out in western Sedgwick County that the appraiser's office has turned up for both systems.
Any other questions?
That'd be just commercial, or is that residential also?
Residential would be considered accessory, and so that wouldn't fall under utility major.
Mr. McKay?
This morning at Advanced Plans, is it the 21st you're going to hand out the,
Oh, yeah, we had discussion of the ballpark.
isn't the 21st when you're going to hand that out?
March 21st is when we'll be having the hearing here. I'll hand it out probably February 21st, yeah.
Please, everybody read it, because it's
Yes.
pretty interesting, because we brought up quite a few,
Yes.
yeah, because we brought up quite a few questions just this morning, so.
And we'll definitely need
And it's not
feedback.
something, it's about that thick, so it's not something you can just glance at. You need to kind of.
It is on our website right now if anybody wants to look it up.
Mr. Richardson?
Bill, I see where they're soliciting comments about downtown streets. Will this group get involved in that in any way? Do I understand what that's about?
I know Scott Wadel's running that project. I'm not sure that he's bringing that in front of us group.
And Scott Wagle is a, what,
He's in the transit department right now, I believe.
a transit department, I see. Okay, well, it would sound like
I can,
goes to foot transit, is what it sounds to me
I
like.
can send that comment to him and ask him to. present
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's okay, the
okay.
county manager.
It seemed to me like at least Advanced Plans ought to have a look at that. I just happened to see it in the press that says they want somebody to come to a meeting and tell them what they think, but
Thank you.
Anything else? Seeing none, we are adjourned.